Hi there. Welcome to Bodhrán Around the Globe. I'll be your instructor, Colin Hart, and today we'll be looking at one of my favorite musics. It's from Peru called Festejo. If we're thinking about the musics of Brazil, typically it's broken up or can be categorized based on three different geographical regions that exist in Peru. One is the coastal area on the Pacific coast there. The other is in the Andes, the mountainous region, and the third is in the Amazon. And so each one of those areas have different musics that are particular to those regions. And today we'll be looking at Festejo, which comes from the coast of Peru. The music itself is heavily influenced by West African music traditions. It's an Afro-Peruvian musical tradition, really originating from when slaves were brought by the Spanish to work, particularly in the coastal region of Peru. And so their music, and particularly the rhythms and some of the percussion, have greatly influenced, particularly Festejo. If you're interested in reading a great text about it, there's an ethnomusicological text called Black Rhythms of Peru, Reviving African Musical Heritage in the Black Pacific. You can see it there. It's a great read. It really gives you an insight into the musical traditions of Peru, but particularly in the coastal regions, and particularly Afro-Peruvian. So that being said, we're going to dive in. There's some unusual sticking patterns in this. I like it because it gives you a way of breaking up 12/8, which is applicable if you're playing this and thinking about jigs and 6/8. You can kind of try and put some of this in there. If you're playing music outside of that, which I've done just playing with my percussion ensemble, it's a great workout as well. It kind of makes you rethink different ways to map rhythms and sounds on this drum. So we'll dive in, okay? So, like I said, this tradition is wonderful. It has different elements. So it has a clave in Festejo. It has the cajon, which is sort of the box that you sit on and play. And it has sort of a woody / snare drum type sound. There's the quijada, or just the jawbone, right? Typically, it's an actual jawbone from a horse or a mule or donkey. And the teeth, when you hit it, kind of shake, and it makes this kind of interesting rattling, buzzing noise. And so that's hit with a stick, so you can have a percussive hit on it, and also has this rattle sound. There's the cajita, meaning just, cajon. Cajita is a little box. And it's actually a box you open and close and hit with a stick. So obviously someone repurposed this box to become a musical instrument, and it's great. It has a great sound. And there's also a cowbell pattern in here as well. So we'll dig into this stuff. In terms of recordings, if you're looking for some great Afro-Peruvian music, there's a whole world of it. One of my favorites I've just been recently listening to is Gabriel Alegria and the Afro-Peruvian Sextet, which kind of blends jazz and Afro-Peruvian rhythms, including Festejo. And these instruments are there. Seeing them live is incredible. So if you get a chance, take a listen to that. So if we're thinking 12/8, just take the brush, right? And so there's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, bop, bop, boom, 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 boom. It's just keeping 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So it's good to keep that pattern, even if you're just thinking about it at 12/8 and just doing the 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 2, 3, and you're just keeping the tap on this 1, 2, 3, bop, boom, boom, bum, boom, boom. You just keep that going. It's helpful because some of these rhythms are syncopated, and then you can play against that if you need to. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the sort of clave and the cowbell pattern are the same. And so, obviously, the clave being played with sticks, but then you have the cowbell pattern there, and it's boom, 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 boom. Now, you could also, I'm just doing hits into the drum here, and I'm playing up here. You can really think, if you want to tap here, you can do. Right, so you can even do it here. So that's keeping everything together, right? That's a constant throughout the piece. If you watch my bembe video, you may kind of hear similar, right? Right? So this is along those lines. If you hear that bell pattern I just played, which is bembe, if you think about it, festejo, right? Bembe is obviously from West Africa. You can hear a lot of similarities there of. So that's one way to do it, is just the hits. And you can also do dum boom ba 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 boom boom boom. Okay, so cowbell and the clave are going on there. Let's see here. So we also have on here we have the cajon pattern, right? Very similar. It's going to line up with the bell pattern. It's almost identical except for the last group of three there. Meaning, let's hear this. It's boom boom ba 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 boom boom ba 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 da bum ba 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 da da da. Okay, so you could stick that boom boom ba ba da 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 dum ba da 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 da. I'm doing down up down up down up down up down. Right? I have to think about it for a second there, but so boom boom ba da 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 da. So I'm thinking about different ways of mapping this as well. The cajon pattern typically is, first one is low, so boom, boom, ba, boom, ba, da, da, boom, boom. So if you want to map that exactly, how the cajon with the bass and sort of the mid-range or higher part of that, you will come up with some interesting sticking. So one of those could be down, up, right? Down, up, down, up, down, up, up. So boom, ba, ba, boom, ba, da, boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ba, ba, da, 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 boom, 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 ba, da, 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 da. To make it a little easier, I think the side hits there actually work a little better. So you can dum, ba, da, 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 bum, ba, da, 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 bum, ba, da, 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 boom. Okay? So think about those. I mean, look, you can map these, whatever sticking pattern works for you. Some of these sticking patterns are fine at certain tempos. If you pick up the speed, you may switch to something else. If you want to just treat it as an exercise or workout to try out different sticking patterns, just that boom, 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 boom. That's fine. Or da 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 ba ba. Do what you will with it. But they're just ideas, anyways, to float out there. So this is happening right with that constant 12/8 feel of 1 2 3 1 2 3 bump it dum bump it dum. You have the bell pattern. You have the cajon pattern, which you did there, which lines up with the bell nicely. Boom, ba da 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 da. Okay. Now you also have the quijada, the jawbone. Okay. This is a nice pattern. It's 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay. You can figure that out how if you just want to do just back and forth where you're not repeating strokes, so you're going bump boom bump boom bump boom, right? You could do that. So you have bump boom bump boom da 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 da. That's one way. You can also do down up down and then down up, right? So bump boom bump up da 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 da. So that's the basic pattern there of bump boom bump bump da 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 da. Boom. So you got that, right? Da 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 da. Okay, so if you want to, with your hand there, that's fine. If you want to just keep it mute, that's fine as well. The accents there, where we're thinking about is 1 2 3, right? 1 2, 1 2 3, 1 2, okay? 1 2 3, 1 2, 1 2, 1 2, right? So bamba boom baba, bamba boom baba, bamba boom baba, baba baba. So that last, we're thinking about that. There's 2 bars of 12/8 there, right? We have bamba boom baba, baba boom baba, baba boom baba, baba baba. That last 3 groupings of triplets of baba 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 is important to really hit those. It's the tail end of that pattern. So bumpa dum bata, boomba dum bata, boomba dum bata, data, data, boom. And you can just repeat that over and over as you need to. but it's a nice kind of pattern to think about. If you're just doing, you know, boom, 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 ba, boom, ba, ba, boom, boom, ba, ba, boom, boom, ba, 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 ba. If you're just playing in 3 and looking for different ways to break it up. It's nice even as maybe an intro or a drum break, or you know, even an ending possibly. But there's a nice punch to it. Let's talk about what have we done here. Most of the parts, the one we have not done is the cajita. Love this part as well. So the pattern, right, is we're thinking again 12/8, right? We're doing boom, boom, da 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 da. Okay, so if we're thinking here, boom, boom, ba 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 ba. Right, without me thumping here, it's boom, boom. If we're thinking about mapping this on the drum, one possible way is, right, bum 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 ba ba bum bum ba ba bum bum ba ba bum bum bum. Okay, so you can start high, bum 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 ba ba bum bum. Right, so you're going high, low, and of course you could switch that to bum bum. Right, so you got bum bum ba ba. Again, I'm sticking that down up and then just doing side hits in for the repeated hits of there. Boom, boom, right? Da 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 da. It's up to you to kind of figure out the sticking for that. But nonetheless, try these out. Like I said, play along with some recordings. Figure out what works for you, and kind of figure out how to map these on the drum. Sometimes it's just, you might want to just do the sticking, just as an exercise. Other times it's great to kind of figure out where to put these rhythms, or just to break up 12/8 into different ways. But I encourage you to take a listen to this. If you have any questions, concerns, please hit me up with an email. And of course, I have a book coming out about the Bodhrán. So if you're interested in this drum, learning more about it, about makers, about players, pedagogy, recordings, etc., please check that out. It's called the Bodhrán Experimentation, Innovation in the Traditional Irish Frame Drum, and you can find that in the link below, but it's with the University of Tennessee Press. All right, guys, thank you.